catch up with the way this was publicized on our event page. So now is 5 past the hour, so I think it's good time to get started.
Let's go.
All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome to our February GBO event hosted by the Hong Kong and Philippines chapters. I'm Leanne, and I have been a business owner in Hong Kong for about 1.5 years, doing science communication, communication coaching, and career and life coaching. And I'm also the head of the Hong Kong chapter of GBO. I'm going to pass it to TJ to introduce himself, and then I'll say a few words about what GBO is.
So, hey everyone, my name's TJ, and I'm an entrepreneur here in the Philippines. I own a financing company in Makati City, and I also do investor relations for an American bank based in New York City. So anything related to SEC regulated investments in the US, I can help you introduce legitimate companies so you could get to meet them and grab the opportunity. And I'm also the ambassador of the Philippines for GBO. And I welcome you all to this amazing event set up by Leanne and our guest Ritesh, which we will have a lot of chatty moments later. So let's get started. Leanne, would you like to give a brief introduction about GBO?
Yes, this will just be a verbal introduction because we do something a bit more detailed about once a month. We do these more formal introduction to GBO sessions, and our next one is on the 3rd of March at 5 p.m. So GBO is a global networking, a global business network that prioritizes relationships, getting to know each other as the foundation for building rapport, trust, and creating opportunities to grow personally and professionally. So GBO stands for growth, business, and opportunities. So business is a common agenda among the members. The members come from a huge variety of cultural and business backgrounds. They're entrepreneurs, they're investors, they're high-level executives. They are, people like me who have been in business for less than 2 years. There are people like David who have been in business for over 20 years. We have a huge range of experiences to learn from and to share knowledge. And from all of that, we can grow opportunities for business, for impacts, for social responsibility, positive impacts in our community. And what else do you need to know for now? The way our members experience value are through events like this. We have a full meetings calendar of in-person and online events. Unfortunately, in Hong Kong and Philippines, it's just online right now. But they take on a variety of formats, some like this that are kind of ask me anything style. Some are workshops, some are like speed networking, things like that. So we have a huge variety of events, as well as a suite of dedicated services run by our head office to help businesses grow and gain visibility. So that's what I'll say for now. But if you're interested in learning more, please visit our website. Please visit our next introduction session on the 3rd of March at 5 o'clock. So without further ado.
Okay, I'm going to take over.
Go ahead. In the spirit of GBO, we share the stage.
Thanks, Leanne. So this is the part where we all introduce ourselves, so we get to know who is in the room. And what you basically do is you introduce yourself, your name, your business or profession, and something interesting that you can say to everyone within 30 seconds. So what I'll do is I'll call people counterclockwise direction from my screen. And I swear to God, this is always happening. It's always David Elephant on the top right of my screen. So I'll start with him. So David, you have 30 seconds, and everyone has 30 seconds to introduce themselves and share to the world what they're doing. Are you ready, David?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, my name is David Oliphant. I am based in the Philippines for the last 25 years. I'm involved in multiple businesses, one which is to assist foreign companies set up their businesses in the Philippines and arrange all kinds of business permits they may need, accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll services. I'm also involved in a small internet service provider, which operates in Boracay, which is a tourist destination. And we also sell disaster relief and items and medical supplies. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Next on my screen is Jackie Louie, or Louie. I hope I said it correctly. You ready, Jackie?
Yes, sure. Yes, hi everyone. I'm Jackie. I'm new. This is my first time coming here, joining you all. Thank you, Leanne, for inviting me. I'm a biologist by training, and I started my own business about 17 years ago. I'm a US patent agent, and I have an IP agency, and we specialize in helping drafting patent applications for clients. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Next on my screen is Shad. My good friend Shad.
Wow.
Ready, Shad?
Cool. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, DJ, for the quick invite. So, hi everyone. My name is Shad. What I do, I work for a company called Spenmo. Spenmo is a fintech cloud-based payable solution for businesses. What we do basically is like we have two tools. The smart card basically is a way for you to keep track of all your spending, and you have the ability to create a lot of that cards. And then that's the same time accounts payable solution for sending out money to people. So yeah, two things.
Thank you, Shad. Next is James Ho. You ready, James?
Yes. Hey, hi everyone, can you hear me? Yeah, I'm new. Thanks again for inviting. I was born in Hong Kong, and I was born and raised in Hong Kong and educated in Australia. What I'm doing is that I run a really boutique business advisory firm, and my specialty is to do business linguistic and business literacy. So if I get a chance in the future, I will tell you more what I do, because it's very interesting. Yeah, in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you, James. All right, the screen moved for some reason, and Edgar is now in here. Edgar, you ready?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone. Hi from Lisbon, Portugal. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I have several businesses. I have a restaurant business here in Lisbon. I also have, with my wife, coaching and mentoring consulting business around the world. And we are so involved in luxury real estate also. Well, that's it. And hi from Lisbon.
Thank you, Edgar. That was short and sweet. All right. Next is MK. I get to call him nicknames because we're pals now.
Okay.
Let's go, MK.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Kwong, MK, and I'm stationed in Hong Kong. I think I'm a sort of serial entrepreneur. I'm involved in one of the trainers platform, Magnet Asia. I invested in projects in AI and a couple of technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, MK. Pretty good, on time. Next on my list is Jillian. You ready, Jillian?
Yeah, so thanks, TJ, and hi, everyone. So I'm Jill Santos. I actually work as an innovation officer and a policy writer for government-funded projects and grants. But I'm also the CEO and founder of my own startup. It's called Anitech. So we're a B2B agri-tech startup at the pre-seed stage, and we develop and leverage deep technologies like nanosensors, IoT, and analytics to create food supply chain solutions. So thanks.
Thanks, Jillian. Next on the list, Anik Hadler, if I get it correctly. Are you ready, Anik?
Yes, I hope you can hear me. I'm like in Cheongshao right now, like on a small island close to Hong Kong. I'm actually family business researcher, and Leanne was so nice to invite me. I'm doing here research on family businesses in China, Hong Kong, and in Germany. So I'm like, was just like very curious to join this group. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much. Okay. Hilda. Hilda, you there? Hilda? Okay, Hilda's not ready. She's muted. So I'm gonna skip. Baltic, he's saying he doesn't have a microphone, so I'm gonna skip that. Surendra as well. Or no?
Hi,
Krishna.
greetings.
Okay, let's go, Surendra. Let's go.
Hi, TJ. Thank you. Thank you, Lian. Thank you, David. Hi, Ritesh. I know a couple of people in this GBO session. So hello to everyone. I'm Surendra. I'm a managing partner of Chandrawat and Partners. I'm running my own law firm in India and running a corporate consultancy firm in Hong Kong. I was born in India, but I'm in Hong Kong from 2010, doing services, providing range of services to the clients. And right now is in Hong Kong. So greetings, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Surendra. Okay, next on my list is Nancy Wang or Wang. Nancy, you ready? Hello, Nancy.
Hey everyone. Hi, I'm invited by Ritesh. So yeah, I'm not an entrepreneur or anything, but Ritesh is my friend and he's my MBA classmate, so that's why I'm just joining. And by myself, I work for Apple. So currently, I'm in a quarantine hotel in Shenzhen, so it's quite good timing to join this event, and I look forward to all your talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. All right, I'm gonna give the Baltic Mitha a chance to speak if he's interested, and Krishna and Hilda. So let's start with Mitha. Okay, I guess that's a no. Let's go for Krishna. He turned on his camera, so I guess he could turn on his mic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Krishna, originally from India. I work in private hospitality, or I would say that I manage the businesses of a private family around the world. And I've been in Hong Kong for about 8 years from South Ritesh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Krishna. All right, did I miss anyone? Oh, Hilda turned on her camera, so I guess she's gonna go. She's gonna give it a go. Let's go, Hilda. You're muted.
Hi, so I'm a civil engineer by background, but at the moment I'm working for a management consultant and I'm doing some digital business transformation and that sort of thing. So happy to know more about different people and the network, and like because I've been hearing that some like we have the network here like doing transformation and digital products and that sort of thing. So I will like be keen to know more about it. So yeah.
Thank you, Hilda. Last but not the least, I guess, is Richard. I think Richard keeps moving on my screen. That's why I wasn't able to call him. So Richard, you ready?
Yes, I am. I mean, you can never really catch me. I'm always moving. So I'm the GBO president of Stockholm, and I've worked in the cosmetic business for almost 35 years now, in almost any position you can have, various. Right now, I'm the chairman of the board for 2 companies. I made small investment in, one in fintech and one in the cosmetics area, and it's going to be interesting to listen what this meeting can give us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Wow, that was really good timing. All right, so let's move to the next phase of the agenda. Unless I missed anyone, I apologize. But if no one anymore, let's move forward. So I'm gonna turn this over to Miss Slaughter, or I call her the Slayer, to Leanne, and she will introduce our star of the day. Let's go.
Yeah, so it's my great honor and pleasure to have here with us today our GBO Hong Kong member, our first GBO Hong Kong member, Ritesh Nandwani. He's an entrepreneur, a venture capitalist, and a creative person. And he founded his first business providing marketing consulting when he was in university with some friends, and they were able to exit within 3 years. So he comes from a diverse background, culturally and with regards to his experience. But nonetheless, he's got great instincts for investments, for choosing investments, rolls the dice with some interesting, emerging technologies. And we're very excited to have him with us today to learn more about, how does a VC think about, these opportunities that are, haven't even really sprouted from their seeds yet. Like, how do you know what's worth nurturing and what's worth growing? With that, let's get started. So the way this is going to work is that, we have a few questions. TJ and I have a few questions to ask Ritesh to get the conversation going. But in the process, we really want to hear from you. What is it that you're interested to hear to learn from Ritesh about? TJ, do you have anything to add about how that's going to work?
Right. So after the first question is going to be asked, if you have questions to Ritesh, because it's going to be a fireside chat style, you just have to raise your hand using the reactions feature of Zoom. There's a raise hand feature there. Sometimes it will have this kind of icon on your screen, if you could see, and they're prioritized. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm raising my hand, not physically, but the virtual hand. So, and you can also lower your hand. So those who are raising their hands, we're going to call them one by one to ask their questions. So everyone learns within the session. So sounds excited, right? Or exciting? Man, COVID, I swear. Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
So welcome, Ritesh.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Well, yeah, let me give you a brief introduction, the way things went. So Ritesh, I'm Indian by ethnicity, but I was born and raised in the Philippines. So my parents migrated to Manila in the early 70s, and I was born in 1980. I finished my first undergrad, my undergrad and my first master's degree in Manila. After which, and that's when also like what Leanne mentioned. So I co-founded my first company with 4 of my other classmates, and we ended up selling it after we finished our masters together. It was a marketing research firm. I think it's still being operated in-house right now by a very large food company in the Philippines. They do movie food, popcorn, nachos, that kind of stuff. So that's still there. And then I started working first in headhunting after that, after I finished my master's degree. And I did not like it. I'm sorry, it just wasn't for me. Then I started working with the family business, my dad's family business, which is importation and distribution, mainly in school and office supplies. That was in Manila, so I started traveling a bit. Then I joined the consultancy firm. That consultancy firm, it led me to live in China, Thailand, India, US, and UK. Then after I finished my last project in the UK, I went back to Manila for a short while, did some work with the Philippine Stock Exchange. And then I got an offer to move to Hong Kong to join a family office. Also, it is part of my family, although extended family, but this time from my mom's side. So I came here, that was in 2007. So I've been in Hong Kong now for almost 15 years, working pretty much with the same company, but I've had many roles in the company. And this side of the business started mainly by exporting goods to Africa, West Africa specifically, So we started in textiles, and till today, that's 50% of our revenue. Textiles. Then we ventured into a lot of different products. So there's oil, steel, chemicals, wax products, food products. We own 10 major brands in West Africa. And then from there, it diversified in a lot of other things. And when I joined the company, I was supposed to go to Africa as well for marketing also, but ended up staying in Hong Kong because it took a bit of time for my paperwork to get done. And since I had worked with the stock exchange, my boss told me, he asked me if I could handle investments for him. And that's what I did. Mainly it was stocks, bonds, derivatives, so traditional stuff, although high risk in nature, but we did quite well until the global financial crisis in 2008, and we're still okay. Then from that time, we ventured into different stuff. And that's when I started looking at alternative investments greatly. One of our early investments was breeding racehorses. So we own a bunch of racehorses in Australia and the Middle East. After that, we started venturing into art. So we own a bunch of art by Asian artists, mainly Chinese, Korean, and Indian artists. That we still generate revenue from by renting them out. And then we started building hotels. And then we ended up partnering with the Marriott Group. So we own a bunch of hotels in Europe, Asia, but predominantly in Africa. In some countries, we're the first company to actually have a 5-star hotel. In some countries in Africa, we build resorts by the beachfront properties. So that ended up spawning to its own business, out of which now I'm not involved with. And back how I got into the venture side of the business was in 2015. I started looking at investing by myself with my own money. And then a little bit later, maybe in 2017, that's when the family was like, okay, we want to do this and invest in early stage. So that's how we had started. And we got involved with some companies in Hong Kong in logistics, since we know logistics very well. Then we invested also in an AR/VR firm, which now has ended up becoming into more like an advertising firm. And that's when we just started growing, because next thing we did, we invested in some companies in the US. We became an LP with some other VCs in Hong Kong, the US, and we are also a major partner with an accelerator here in Hong Kong. So that's how I got into VC space. At the same time, while I was doing my MBA, I started MBA in 2017. I was fortunate enough to go to Davos to present on investing in sub-Saharan Africa in 2018. And that's where my network grew. And that actually helped a lot in the VC space for us, not only for me personally, but for the family office as well. That's where we got involved with some companies in the US and in Europe. And that's where it just expanded. And from then, that's where I am now. It's just been growing. As of now, we have over 40 companies in our portfolio. We do have a few have had exits already, and a few unicorns as well. So yeah, here's where we are now.
Thank you, Ritesh, for that comprehensive introduction from textiles, oil, steel, chemicals, art, high risk technologies, VR across Africa, Europe, Asia. I think you are like GBO in one person. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, you can imagine, from extremely traditional businesses to some of the stuff that I invest in now, which are like space manufacturing, lab-grown human blood, human organ 3D printing. So it's just diverse. It's a very diverse, although high risk investment profile, as what some would say. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds wild. Like how do you come across, some of these technologies, and what, when you come across it, what credibility is there, or what is there that makes you think that this is worth investing in right now?
Um, I think when we see it, because if you look at it, it's not really a whole new product that's needed or a service. It's actually the disruption of making the product. It's like look at um, the 3D printing of human organs. There's such a big demand of human organs just because a lot of people are sick. They need transplants, and the number is just very lopsided when it comes to supply and demand. Now,
Mm.
if this demand can be fulfilled, then yeah, it brings everything down to an back everything to equilibrium. But we're still very far off. And one of the ways that can be done is either growing human organs, or lab growing or 3D printing. And when we look at it, yeah, there's already a huge demand, and we're trying to come in and fill in that supply. And when we see something like that, we're like, okay, let's put a little bit of money in. We know it's very high risk at this moment, but the profile of VC, as most of you know, there's a lot of failure to a very scarce time of success. But we understand that risk profile, and if you're comfortable with that, then you can work with it. Like we did have a big issue with that a couple of years ago. Like like I told, I come from a very traditional family office. The family office here is very traditional, and if you're coming from old business with the mentality of some, like maybe it's more Asian than others, but you don't like it when the company that you've invested in fail. When it comes to VC, you have to be comfortable with 8 out of 10 companies failing, and failing all the way down to bankruptcy. In the Asian mentality, that's not the typical mindset, and you have to be comfortable with that. Then only once you're comfortable with, then only can you start investing in very far out investments. But you have to understand that if just 1 out of 10 succeed, that successful startup or that successful company is enough to pay off everything. And it's going to be in multiples, not even in just like, okay, I made 10%, but we've seen companies that have brought us, that have covered, out of 10, that one company has paid off 3 4 times, maybe even 20 times. And that's how the VC world is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're not seeing any hands up, so I'll ask another question. Can you break it down for us? When you come across these opportunities, what are some of the criteria that investors look for, and what are some of the criteria that you prioritize?
I think one of the most important that I feel is the market size and the market opportunity. That's one thing that a lot of founders don't think about. They feel that, oh yeah, it's a great product, but is there a market demand for it? And no matter how great your product is, if there's no real demand, or even the possibility of a very high demand, it's going to be difficult to scale. The next thing we look at is the team. How credible is the team? How much experience they have, and also the other thing that I also look at is if at least someone in the team is from outside the industry. Because I feel that if they're from outside the industry, they're the ones who can bring in new ideas and disruptive ideas into that space. And in my nature of business, you have to look for things that are able to disrupt it in such a way that it scales up very quickly. So those two things I look at, and then yeah, so the people and the credibility, the market size, the product, of course, that has to be there. Yeah, and timing. timing also plays a very big role.
Can you give an
Jackie.
example?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Jackie has a question. She raised her hand. So
Let's go with Jackie's question.
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jackie. Unmute yourself.
Yes, let me unmute myself and how come I'm not on the video? I don't know. Am I still muted?
Yes, we can hear you and see you clearly, Jackie.
Oh, you can? All right, good.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, what about IP? I mean, I'm an IP person. I mean, is it because some of these that you describe has a very high barrier to entry, and so they naturally have this high barrier, and you don't have to worry so much about IP protection because the industry itself, the company itself is somewhat protected? Or, do you do the due diligence that is necessary in terms of IP for the technology companies?
Yes, for IP, yeah, it does matter, but not in all industries. For biotech, heavily, that matters a lot. But when it comes to other things like we've met companies that, oh yeah, they have an IP for this product, or this is a product for bartending. I'm like, yeah, for us, the IP or patents for that are not that relevant. I mean, the one thing that I think IP would really matter more in the biotech space and some industries, and not all. So it really comes case to case. And, if we see this, the IP can be copied by someone else. I mean, you look at it this way. Your product has to stand so strong on its own that even if people try to copy it, they're not able to come up to that aspect on how good it is. The IP, like when it comes to patents and stuff like that, if it can be copied, or even someone else can, replicate what you have, then maybe it's not even strong enough for us to invest in some aspect. I mean, it has to be strong enough to stand on its own without the protection of an IP. That is you could say, the ultimate product for us.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
but I'm saying, like, IP is great in the biotech industry, but most other industries, it's not.
Right. So what you're saying is that basically in other industries, perhaps because the time to market is shorter, basically you need a product that's going to have a wow factor, that's going to immediately hit the market running. And so you don't have to worry so much about, deterrence from the others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also the other thing, right? I mean, if you're being copied, look at it as flattery, I guess. You look at it as flattery, and then that just gives you more initiative to improve your product to be better than everyone else. I mean, at least I see that personally. I'm sure it is going to raise a lot more questions, but it really depends on what your industry is. In some industries, IP protection does not matter much. In some, it does. Things like biotech, and other forms of technology, yeah, it is very relevant. But a lot of other spaces, it's not.
Okay,
And
thank
that's,
you.
I think, what I feel a lot of founders get very protective of. Like the whole NDA thing. A lot of, I mean, I work with a lot of VCs in Asia and in the US. The ones in the US, they don't like it if founders ask for an NDA before they would even talk about the product. In Asia, it's more common, and I work on both sides. So, yeah, in the US, that's their understanding that if the company can't stand up on its own, without trying to protect everything, they won't even bother investing. That's already a big red flag for VCs. Yeah.
And I think possibly because the company probably have their protection already before they talk to anybody, you know.
And the thing is with VCs, we talk a lot with each other. So if we're gonna get someone that, okay, you stop from here, we'll be like, yeah, we obviously don't want that legal liability, but we tend to share that. I think that's another thing about the business of VC. We tend to share a lot with other VCs, the good companies that we find. We tend to be more collaborative rather than competitive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was a great question. I think TJ has an IP related question.
Sure.
Yeah. What do you think about where the company is founded or originated? Because let's say here in the Philippines, when it comes to software companies like where Shad right now works, it's a fintech company. You cannot patent software here in the Philippines. But if you go to the US, there's some aspects that you could patent software. So do you look into those intricacies? I don't know how to say it, like specifics, probably is the better term. And based on the regulations they're working with, because I think in different countries, they have their own thing. And sometimes you could be walking in a gray area, which is sometimes really great because in the future it might become super big, or really bad because it maybe in the future it's going to be super big red flag or a big deal. So is there a way that is there like a criteria you manage for it? Sorry, my question's kind of like loopy, right? It's like a lot of loops in my questions.
Yeah, well, we do look at those things. So we do put it under, you could say, country risk or jurisdictional risk. So in some cases, the easiest solution would be, okay, change your headquarters or change your office or something like that. And we would do that in some cases. A lot of other VCs would do that as well. It could be, just because the risk of that country, whether it be the risk of the political situation or devaluation risks, other risks like that. And we would set up another office in another country just to help that startup out, especially if we already invest in them. If we haven't, then we would see if they are open to it or other ways to go about it. Yeah.
So that's like an investor or like an entrepreneur visa going to the US, right? You spend $200,000 to become a US citizen, and now your headquarters is now in the US because Ritesh sponsored you or something, right? So those situations do happen.
It really depends. Again, because like let's say that 200,000 is there, it would be part of, we would see, okay, is this company worth it spending this 200,000? So we part of our due diligence process. We would have to go through, okay, do we like this company? Then yeah, I mean, if we're gonna invest in it, if we feel that you're really gonna grow, and if we're willing to spend like $1 million, 2, 3 million, what's 200,000 that we're gonna put in? Okay, we can help this out legally. Maybe yeah, we'll ask for more equity or something. Yeah.
Thank you, Ritesh. So Leanne, honor's yours.
Either or. Well, Edgar had his hand up first, and then we'll go with Javier. Okay. Edgar, please.
Okay, thank you. Ritesh, let me ask you something. What about real estate?
Yes.
In real estate, do you work with real estate? How do you manage to make deals in real estate with collateral or no collateral? Do you invest in real estate, for example? And so, how is the best way to give a VC security on the deals?
So for the space of VC, some VCs for real estate, there's not many VCs that will invest in real estate as part of their portfolio. They would invest in it as a real estate investment. So I wouldn't consider it under like the VC type portfolio. It would be more like with us. We invest in a lot of real estate, but we put it, okay, yeah, because we want rental income. But I can't say that is part of the VC investment. It would be something else. Like right now I'm working my own startup. So I have another startup as well that I just started. which is in real estate investments. That's fractionalized investing in real estate. So we are investing into real estate, but our customers would be investing in fractional shares. So that is, you could say, a different way of investing into real estate, creating a new asset class for real estate. Yeah. But VCs tend to not invest in the actual real estate asset for their LPs. They would invest in it as a real estate investment, not as a VC type of investment.
Okay. Well, I probably, if you are available, I would like to chat with you in private.
Sure.
So
No problem. No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please connect on the GBO platform. Edgar, you're a member, correct?
Yes, I'm a member. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on the WhatsApp group. I think I will. It's better to reach Ritesh from there. I think it's easier.
Sure.
If it's
Yeah,
okay
thank-
for you, Ritesh.
No problem.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Edgar.
Yeah, Ritesh, since you mentioned fractionalized real estate investing, can you just elaborate for a moment on what that means?
So
And why this is a VC project, or is it a VC project?
it is my own startup, and it started because I had invested in a company in the US that does fractionalized shares in real estate. So it is the first SEC licensed company to do this. When I mean the fractionalized shares in real estate is not a new idea. It's been done before, and there are a lot of companies that do that, but it hasn't been done before, or hasn't been allowed for the retail investor. It's always been allowed for the accredited investor. So meaning, by definition, you have to have $1 million in assets other than the house you live in. So that is by definition, but this definition by the SEC or the SFC for an accredited investor. So for them, they could always get to invest with fractionalized shares into real estate, but it has never been allowed for the retail investor. And the company that I invest in the US called Fintor, they allow this for as low as $5 per share to go into real estate. You know, you got $100, you can own 20 different properties, very small shares, and with rental income or the sale of the asset, you can be making money out of it. In the same way, my team and I are starting this in Asia. We are starting in Hong Kong and Philippines and probably Singapore. So that's the project I'm doing right now, in addition to the VC stuff. Yeah.
I want to get to Javier. I just want to ask, since we're in a community of people who want to help you, what would be helpful? Just a few words.
Well, obviously, we are looking for other people who are in the real estate space, whether it be investors or even people that own real estate right now who want to get in on this. So I am talking with a couple of investors, real estate developers as well in Philippines and in Hong Kong right now, and the regulators, of course. So we are trying to work it out. The regulators, like, let's say in Hong Kong, it's not allowed yet, but they are very interested because they feel also that it's going to happen in 3 to 5 years. And we are working with them, developing the whole thing. And someone from my team was actually part of the first crypto asset management company in Hong Kong. So he helped the SFC sort that out. And now he's part of my team, this time to do with real estate, with fractionalized investing in real estate. Yeah.
I will also shamelessly plug one of my recent investments, the Easy Store and warehousing. So I will catch up with you, Ritesh, after this event, probably by next week. So I'm just gonna send you a message on Facebook or WhatsApp. So just letting you know, I'm coming for you, Ritesh. All right.
I'm coming to don't worry.
Let's
All
go
right.
with Javier.
Exactly. Javier, then Shad.
Let's go.
Okay, well, first of all, quite impressed, Ritesh, for your background. It is amazing. Obviously, you're a very curious person. You've got a background quite similar to mine. I do work in stock markets. I own my own company that I invest in different fields. I've been also working in the field of oil, from commodities to research to intermediate in different buy and sell operations. And I do have also another company, which is a real estate company for very, very small properties. We do have a couple of small properties. We are developing our company. And it's quite impressive to me how your curiosity take you to another different stages in your career. I am very curious too. And normally when you are a stock market trader, you have the will to know every single thing of a company, to understand how they work, how are they in the sector, in the industry they're working for, or they're working within, better said. And this natural curiosity normally expand your mind to feel that so many other fields can be inside of your activities. But for me, it's quite impressive that they are so disruptive. All this oil, art, stock markets, horses, textile, biotech.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have to understand and know deeply of every single areas, for me would be very interesting, very nice, but very complicated too. So what's the process to go inside? Is it because you like it before and then you said to your team, guys, you know what, I think that this project may be awesome, let's find some particular specialists in that field, and let's see how that works? Or it's just because you find it very profitable, some opportunity, and then you found that opportunity and you analyze it with your team? That would be the first part of the question. And the second part, it's going to be, what about metaverse? I mean, you are the metaverse. In once, like, you could build your own metaverse. So are you thinking to go inside of metaverse? How do you think to go? And what do you think about green hydrogen? I mean, you didn't say anything like that in a profile like you. I'm pretty sure that you're eye on that for sure. Let me tell you. Sorry to make so many questions, but you're very
No
interesting
problem.
to ask for.
I think, yeah, to get into so many industries, you're right. The curiosity is there. At the same time, what I had behind me was there was a lot of excess capital with the family that they wanted to invest in, and they were looking for ways to make it grow. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I come from a very large family, and the family is all over the world in different industries, and we've just had that nature or to go into so many different businesses, and we've tried a lot of it. I guess that's just the way they did it before, a lot of trial and error. There was never any research behind it. And now with the influx of education, market research, and things that, like, especially my generation, that we were the first generation in the family to actually have any college degrees or have studied anything. And if we could study something and we feel, okay, there's something in this, let's look more into it. We'll start outsourcing a lot of things. We look for people who understand this more. I mean, I don't know much about biotech. I mean, deep into it, but I do understand the basic concept of things about it. Like the same thing, like like I mentioned earlier, human organ printing. I understand the supply and demand of it. I may not know how to make it, how to actually do it, but I do understand that, okay, there's some ways to do about it. Like we with the space manufacturing company that we invested in, Why would it be better to manufacture, why would it be better to 3D print human organs in space rather than on Earth? Their response was like, it's because, let's say something like human heart, there's so many different types of tissues. And when you manufacture it on Earth, it tends to collapse on its own because of different types of products and it's more complex. But if you do it in a space with no gravity, it's actually much simpler. And you save a lot more things in the manufacturing of that. So, okay, it does make common sense theoretically, but now let's try it in space and see if it works. And the question that comes to us, are we willing to take that risk to fund it or to invest in this? And if there is some proof of concept behind it, then yeah, it's much easier. And again, you know, when we see something like this, usually we go in together in a consortium of investors, just so that the risk is not so big on one person or a group. We'd all go in together and we'd invest in it, and if it works, great, then we'd all put in a little bit more just because we have proof of concept. We know it can be done. And that's how we'd go about it. And I think that's what a lot of VCs would do. That part. And then the metaverse stuff. I mean, I do feel it's quite interesting. It's still early on, but definitely the metaverse is going to be something very big. I also, that now that, you know, we're more in the virtual space, what we saw in the internet over the past 20, 25 years, it has grown into such a big thing that it created a whole new world. And the metaverse is just going to be turning that world into something more more virtual and more immersive, I think. And I think as the technology has improved, which it has, especially like, you know, with the VR headsets, what you can buy now for as low as like 200, 300 US, it allows us to use it or to be more accessible. And that's what's going to help the metaverse as well. And it has only been now or very recently that technology has allowed even the bandwidth. And it's just a convergence of different type of industries. So you have better bandwidth, better hardware, the software is better. And now something like the metaverse is actually reachable. And I think it's just going to be, you know, once we get that part of virtual reality or the metaverse reality, once we get there, there's a whole new, there's a very large influx of new opportunities that we all can be big opportunities for us, I guess. Yeah. And that's with every technology. That's not only with the metaverse. I'm sure the same thing happened decades back when the Industrial Revolution happened. The new age of manufacturing came in. All this happened. So the metaverse is just another stage of human evolution, if you ask me.
Thank you, Ritesh. Those were awesome questions. At this point, I want to acknowledge that we scheduled the event to go till 6 o'clock. So now is 1 minute till 6. So we just want to acknowledge everyone's time. If you need to go, that's fine. But since the conversation is pretty exciting right now, it wouldn't be a true VC experience without an after party. TJ, do you want to say something about that?
I mean, when I was younger and when I go to these VC parties, they have after parties. When they're done talking about investments, they share a drink. But since we're all at home, if you have a drink in your fridge, why not grab it? But yeah, we're going to stay a bit like from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. It's just really going to be super casual.
6:30, TJ, 6:30.
6:30. My bad. 6 till 6:30.
I think 7 is fine. I can stay till 7. Yeah.
Oh, all
Thank
right.
you, Ritesh.
Get a few.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have an after party. But for those people who still have questions, yeah, we're gonna entertain you for the after party. And of course, it's a free market, or it's a free room to talk about ideas, guys. Not just VC, because it's an after party, of course. So yeah, let's just finish a bunch of questions for the VCs and then after party. All right. Back to you,
That's right.
Leanne.
And TJ will be hosting the after party. I actually have to host another event tonight. So TJ's hosting the after party.
I am not dancing or doing anything truth or dare. It's off the table. Yeah. Buzz killer, right? Buzz killer. All right, let's go.
All right, thank you, everyone. Everyone who is able to come and needs to go now, is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining us. TJ, it's all yours.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so welcome to the after party of GBO virtually. I'm not sure if they've done this before, but this is going to be the first and hopefully not the last. So there are 3 more questions, and I would hate to say no to these questions. So I'm going to call on Shad to ask his question to Ritesh and keep
Awesome.
keep us getting
Yeah.
entertained. Yeah, go ahead, Shad.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a little bit amazed, Ritesh. You've been in the Philippines. You stayed here for a while. I wonder. I probably my first question. I wonder if you speak Tagalog or Filipino.
Fluently. You'd be
Fluently.
Yeah.
So you can. Tumarunong ka. Okay, that's good to hear.
I'm
All
coming
right.
next month. Don't worry. Yeah.
Wow, very good. We can have coffee together with TJ, perhaps.
I'll be there for
Yeah.
a while.
Drag into this.
Awesome. All right. So I do have 2 questions, specifically. I think it'll be very helpful as well for everyone. You've started investing in a very, very, I would say, like early stages of startups, and you've invested with a lot of startups. And in reality, it's like, if I always think about this, when investing in startups, it's a super high risk, because you don't know when you get to take advantage of of them getting to the next round, or exiting. Probably, like, what are your top most important factors when selecting who to invest in, or which startups to invest in? And at the same time, like, what are the factors for you to exit from the startups, and when, or how soon would you rather exit, like the factors to how soon you would exit? So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like as what I mentioned earlier, to choose a startup, we'd look at the team, the market size, and the product. So these are our top 3 qualifications. People would say you look at the team behind, or you look at the market, and there's always a very big debate between the two. I do think the market is more important. Just looking at it, is there enough supply and demand for this type of product? Next would come the team. Are they coachable? Just how credible they are, how is their expertise behind it, and finally, can they do it? So that would be the most important. And when it comes to exits, I think as a VC investor, when you invest in something, it's a ride or die thing. It's either you invest in them, you continuously invest in them until they actually exit the company, because we don't have much to say when it comes to exits. It's very rare that we would actually get our money back before they actually go IPO, or if it gets sold off. It's difficult for us to sell the shares of our company that we invest in to someone else, because usually they would ask, okay, why are they selling? And if we do sell, we'd usually end up selling with a big discount. So we personally ourselves haven't exited yet from a company that hasn't exited on their own. So yeah, I mean, I do know some people that end up selling their shares, and we have bought some of those shares of a company that we invested in. But we believe in this company, and they said they needed the money because of a divorce, and that's where they sold it. Fair enough. And we saw it as an opportunity just because they sold it at a discount, and we bought it. So we took it as an opportunity, bought it, and we still have those shares till now. Yeah. and we're very happy that we did. Yeah, that company has already gone threefold since we did that investment.
Wow, very good. Yeah, so probably just to add on to that, like in cases, what are the common factors of exiting, and selling? Is it a good option when you think that the company is not doing very well, that let's say the team is not doing very well, you exit or sell off your shares?
Usually, if they're not doing well, it is very, very difficult to sell the shares. Very, very difficult. Um, it's possible you could even sell it at 10 cents to the dollar. So most cases it'd be like, okay, it ends up being a write-off. But in those cases, the most common thing that would happen is, yeah, we won't add more money. That's it.
Well, let's say they went to another serious round, and let's say that bigger VC would buy you out.
Yeah.
Would you usually, like, let's say it's like major VC, Tiger Global, things like that, would you like give it up, like sell it off?
Those are
And usually, how does it work when they want to buy you out? Do you mark up the price?
usually, yeah. Because why would we sell if we can't get more than we want? Or the question will look at, do we need this money right now? Do we still believe in that company? Or are we happy with the profit that we've made? Like, does it hit, our internal rate of return? Does it cross that hurdle? If it does, okay, then maybe we'll think about it. Then we consider it between our group, between the team. Okay, do we want to exit? Because in some cases, yeah, we're more happier with the cash.
Yeah.
Or we can be more happy, okay, let's continue with this company. And if a bigger company is coming in, it does add more credibility. But in some cases, it could also be heading to the negative side. If we feel that it's growing enough and we're happy with this, we'll exit. I mean, again, it really depends. Yeah. Or maybe we could sell half of what we own. We don't have to sell everything. We could sell half.
Right.
So it really depends on the strategy and what that company is, what stage it is, what the future holds for that company, and what's the offer to us. The other thing you
Makes
have to remember in the VC space, everything is negotiable. There is no fixed and hard line until it's on paper. And then again, it can still be negotiated afterwards. So yeah.
Sounds awesome. Last one, Ritesh, your VC fund, which stage are you usually investing?
So the US, because I work with two VC funds. The US fund, I work with a US fund that works in very early stage, all the very high risk. So like I said, space manufacturing, library and blood, those type of stuff. While the family office started in early stage, but we tend to look at later stage investments now. Just because the risk appetite does not suit early stage. So we tend to look more later stage. You could say closer to the private equity size deals, although very large ticket sizes, but they are more sure of those investments. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Shad. Thanks, Ritesh. All right, let's go for MK.
Hi, thank you very much for your sharing, Ritesh. Now, I just want to ask you a question. Now, a lot of people said the world has changed quite a lot after not after, but since the emergence of the pandemic, right? And how do you see your investment, your investment style, or how you, what the kind of criteria you look at investment, in the pre-COVID period or the post-COVID period? Do you see any difference in terms of managing your portfolio?
There have been some changes, but it's more like, okay, the rise of work from home is there. But the thing is, as VC investors, we try to look at things that are 10 years down the line. We try to put ourselves to be in those shoes 10 years down the line. So, 2-3 years of like, yeah, COVID is going to be worked out in 10 years. Everything's going to be fine. Things are going to be back to normal, or there'll be differences in the way things are done. But there's still going to be maybe a blend of pre-COVID and COVID. So yeah, you won't have 100% work from home, but you'll have about 30 to 40%. So we'll have to make, changes to that, agree, but the investments that we do per se, like I don't think we'll invest in something like Zoom, because for us that's too late already. We try to look at things that that people are not even thinking or talking about, like the NFT space. I was already looking at it back in 2016, 17. That was my first investment in NFTs. It was a video game that does NFTs with the investment I have, and NFTs are now so popular. But this was 5 years ago. So as VCs, you tend to look at these things way ahead of time. Obviously, there are also a lot of failures. I'm not gonna deny that, but you tend to look at these spaces way ahead of time. And things like a pandemic, it was a black swan event and nobody could predict it. But as an investor, I don't think I even thought about it back then. And even now, there are some changes, but nothing as significant as it is. It's just, okay, my team, I don't see my team. Like even when I joined the USV firm, so we have a Hong Kong office, I didn't see my team for a year, like face to face. We didn't see each other for a year. And when we met each other, we started talking, but that was it. It still went on. It was just virtual. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, MK. So next question would be from Surendra. Hey, Surendra.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Ritesh, for insightful session. I'm coming directly to the question. I'm based in Hong Kong, and I'm also involved into certain restructuring and restructuring projects from Hong Kong and working with few family business. So my question is quite very particular to your opinion on the structuring side, because I noticed that you referred about the LP, limited partnership structure. So what do you think that what structure should be a better fit in terms of investments from Hong Kong into this project? So I'm not very particular to Hong Kong, but yes, you can touch upon Hong Kong, Singapore, Philippines. These are your jurisdictions, which I can see. So what's your opinion on the structuring side, your investment restructuring suggestions? Thank you for that.
Yeah, so for that, we would actually take, obviously from the legal expertise, we'd talk to them. But traditionally for the VC space, you would have the GP LP structure. That's the most common type of structure for VCs. But for our investments, they would have different structures depending on the industry they're in and who their target is, who they're selling to, what they're selling, and just those different types. Like what TJ had mentioned earlier was for the software space, since that couldn't be done in the Philippines, set up in the US, and that would involve a different type of structure. But it really just depends on different types of industries. So that I think the best person to ask would be a lawyer who's in this space. I mean, I could connect you with that since we work with lawyers that do that, with a bunch of lawyers that do that. But yeah, it really depends a lot of factors. But for the VC itself is the GPLP structure.
Thank you.
All right, so a bunch of people asked their questions. I'm sure others have questions too, but they're just shy and needs a little push. So I'm gonna push someone, or are we just gonna party? Which I don't know what that means right now in a virtual world. So, hey, David,
if I can interrupt, Terence, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
There was a question that wasn't answered before about the green hydrogen.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That I'm pretty sure you're in. I mean, I can talk with you hours. I have 10 topics to share with you that
Sure.
I'm pretty sure we can do things together because of our backgrounds. Yours so much more successful than mine because I do own a small companies and you own a bigger companies with this great family over the world, which is nice. That's call Auntie Susan and she will know that. That's awesome.
Well, we have a chemist in this room right now, which is Leanne, but I think she's chilling at the moment.
Okay.
So green hydrogen. You know, when it comes to obviously the use of hydrogen would be for, I'm guessing, for hydrogen fuel cells, and I'm not very familiar with the manufacturing process behind it, but I'm sure if it can be done in a green, sustainable, and cost-effective manner, it would work pretty well. I mean, everything is going in, you know, getting away from fossil fuels. And again, if it could be, those are the things. If it could be done in a green manner and sustainable manner, and if it's cost effective, why not? If it's done, I think those are just how cost effective it is, how scalable it is, how cheap can it be made. Then I think you got it.
Well, we are exactly at that point. You point exactly the right point of this industry, which is there's some ways to create the hydrogen with fuels that are not green, then you cannot call that green. And the green one is not cost effective yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be really really fast. So because of your approaching to different investings, that might be a great possibility. It is true that so many analysts are focused in the topic because we can see that when it comes to cost effectiveness, it's going to work awesomely well and it's going to be very green, really green, which is what we are looking for all over the planet. So that fits very well in your philosophy or of investing, right?
Yeah, it is. You know, we look at like I could think of like one example that we have, that one investment that we did, not hydrogen but plastics. You know, plastics is a very big offender ecology wise, environmental wise, but we are a very large manufacturer of plastics. The family is. We've been in the plastics industry since the 1970s. If you go to West Africa, in places like Mali, Conakry, we manufacture this one type of plastic. We actually manufacture about 250,000 tons a year, and it is 5 nanometer thickness plastic, thick plastic, which holds 200 ml of water, and is being used for the distribution of water. So they sell water. It's just a single-use plastic. Of course, it's a very big pollutant. Now, we invested in a company in the UK that manufactures an alcohol-based plastic that is soluble in water, and it's edible. Till now, it is still not at price parity yet. So it is a big challenge. We invested in it, and we are looking for 5 nanometer. They could bring it down to 9 nanometers. We invested when they could only bring it down below 12. So yeah, we brought it on 3. It's still not there. And then again, we have to look at the cost of the product. We do feel it is going to get there down the line, but we took the risk. So again, that's the thing. Would you be willing to take that risk? And this risk was not small. It's a $20 million investment. So do we take the risk? We do feel that it's going to get there. And soon enough, even the regulations are going to be like, no, you can't do this unless it's fully recyclable or fully biodegradable or something. We know it's going to get there. But when it's going to happen, the price is going to come down to that level. When is it going to happen that they can manufacture up to that scale of 250,000 tons a year? That's another question. And are we willing to take that risk? So we've been in the plastic industry for so long, we already see it happening. Although, yeah, we do it in Africa where it's still not very strict compared to Europe and the US, but it's going to get there. We already see some places, it has to be, a portion of it has to be recyclable. Right now, in some places, yeah, it has to be minimum 3% recyclable. We're still very low, but eventually it's going to climb up. Eventually, things are happening in the US, but it's going to trickle down to economies that are like places like Africa, and we have to be prepared for that. If we're not prepared for that, we're going to go the way of Kodak. So we
Yeah,
have
for
to
sure.
adapt. Yeah.
Now you are one of the evilest person in the world because you're a plastic producer for every world.
I
For
heard
sure.
Yeah,
You have
Watch
just
out,
seen that.
Greenpeace. Watch out, Greenpeace. They're coming for you.
we
They're
heard
coming
it.
for you.
We
No,
heard
well, I
it.
think it's
Yeah,
a very
yeah, we
it's
heard
a
it.
very smart invest in terms of branding and personal diffusion of your brand mark. But for sure, that will have to be completed with a research of taking out the plastic from the sea. That might be also the second part of your investment. Am I wrong?
That could be part of it. Yeah. But first, we have to find a solution to the problem.
Yes.
So yeah, and because again, like so when it comes to this, it's like, how much of the revenue are we willing to let go? Can we shut
Before
this
make
down?
it profitable.
Yeah, and then again, we stop this manufacturing of this plastic. It's gonna have a trickle down effect. That means a lot of people are not going to be able to have access to that drinking water as well. And how are we going to solve this issue? Because we're a very large private firm in this country. And, 200,000 tons of plastic helps transport water, something that we all need. So if we actually cut this down, how are we going to do it? Are we going to give other containers to help it being transported? And how are we going to do that? So there are other problems that come into play as well. And you got to sit down, think about all these things. Right now, yeah, this is the answer. It's not the best answer, I agree. And we are working on trying to solve that for what's the next step. Yeah. We are part of the problem. We agree to that. We are part of the problem. We've been there since the beginning, and now we're trying to find a solution. And that's the one thing we can do. It's not like, okay, we're gonna shut down and create a bigger problem. Is that the way to go about it? So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Your point of view, it's awesome. I mean, you are one of the few people I said I want to work with this guy. For sure. Let me tell you, your approach to business and to social consciousness is pretty cool. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, it's my job not to make it silent and awkward, because I am awkward myself. So let's look for more interactions. Nancy, would you like to say something? Hilda, David, Faye, Krishna?
I don't want to monopolize. I can pick up 10 topics more. I mean, thousands of things. So.
I think Nancy's down for something. So let's go for Nancy.
Cool.
Well, I have to say that I'm very lucky that being classmate with Ritesh, so I have a lot of opportunity to talk to him. Yeah, so I don't know. The last topic was around some IMAX movies, but actually, yeah. But like, let's back to the topic today. So I'm more curious to ask as well. I mean, as a VC investor, where do you see if a person trying to pull out its own startup, and then where do you think they should start? And I mean, if as you said, you always look at the marketing side and the business side of the idea rather than if the product has a demand or not. So do you think, let's say if I gonna plan to run my own startup in anytime near future, then should I start looking for things I found in my expertise that will work with the market? Or should I more of just brainstorming of what's the future product should look like? So actually I'm trying to figure out a direction to go to that path. Thanks.
Thanks for the question. I mean, I think when it comes to use your expertise and see how because the expertise of some people, it's not very focused on one type of product or one space of the market. So you put your expertise and try to find something or try to develop something that goes with the large size of the market. I mean, the market is so big. I mean, how many trillions of dollars is the world market? But if you can find something, even with a $1 billion market size, and if you're willing to go with, think about it, if you can target just 1% of that, that is already something. That's already about 10 million. And obviously it grows even larger. So you try to find something that has a large market where you can find the most number of customers for that type of product that you have. So if your expertise, like in your case, like media. So yeah, you're creating something in media. How many people do you think can be reached by this type of product or this type of show or something like that? You multiply it again with how much things it cost, and no, wait. Let's say for the startup, like, okay, wait, with us. So like I'm developing a startup now in real estate. It's a very big industry. The US alone spends about $28 trillion a year. It's a very, very large space. And it's a space that we're going to get in because we're creating a new asset class. But we're going into it, creating it in a different way of investing in it, especially for the person that doesn't have the capital to invest in the whole unit by themselves, and going it together as a group or consortium of people investing in this single product. I mean, and that's how we thought about it. But we felt that there was a gap in the market for that. So it's either you have enough money to invest in a property, and the other side is you can invest, but there's nothing yet in the middle ground. Yeah, you could invest in stocks, but you want something that is a different asset class, and the risk profile of real estate is unlike any other. So we felt that there was a gap in that, and that's how we are working on that. So you look for gaps in the market that you could try to fill. And if you have expertise in that, and if you have if you have the know-how, then you build your team around that. Like my experience in real estate is okay. Yeah, we have real estate investments, but there are other people who are better at that. And I have someone on my team, or CIO. He heads the private equity department of a very large real estate company here in Hong Kong. And he joined my team. And you build your team, your other co-founders, I think could help you fill in those gaps with you when you find that other big gap in the market. Does that answer it?
Yeah, totally. Thanks so much. Actually, it's very inspirational. I think I need to spend time to think my next 5 years move. Thank you.
Hey, Nancy, I can't help but ask, like, do you know Debbie Lai?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Just curious, because I've looked up the profiles in the attendee list from the database of who signed up. Okay, so let's go with David Elephant. Do you have any questions, David? I've been pushing David to ask questions, like really pushing him to ask questions.
Yes, you're really pushy.
That's me.
I'm more interested to know, have more information about your fractional real estate project, when it will launch and what are the opportunities there?
Well, the good thing is I'm coming to Manila next month mainly for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've spoken to a
Oh,
bunch of lawyers that work with the Philippine government, and they're open to it. So
mhm.
my tech team is already in Manila, and I'm coming down next month. Just because Hong Kong is, pretty much going to lockdown and it's slowed down. So we're like, okay, let's work on it in the Philippines, since
Mhm.
that's where we are planning to launch it first.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so
So is it you have to speak to the BSP or just the SEC?
we want the SEC, I think, but eventually maybe with the BSP for some things, because the thing is, it's, again, we're talking, like what I said, we're the new asset class. So even the regulators, they'll say this now, then tomorrow it's another thing. They say, oh, you need this, you need that. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of things that we have to consider. So I'm
Yeah.
sure, even what the SEC is saying, we're gonna have more questions again from the BSP and the DTI.
Because
And
the DTI really doesn't do much on
yeah,
these
no, I'm
things.
just saying that probably
Yeah.
we'll have more things, to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the BSP's been acting really strange lately
Okay.
because, for example, they decided, okay, no more VASP licenses applications for the moment, no more EMI license applications for the moment. It's like everything, they just put it on hold,
Yeah.
and they said for 2 years.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, it's a little, they're a little difficult lately. I don't know if they're overwhelmed because they were closed most of the time with COVID or
I think it's with
something
all
else.
regulators. It's with all regulators. Even here, like the SFC tells us something, we answer them. We won't hear anything for a while. A couple of weeks, maybe even months later, they'll ask us another question. Then again, it's back and forth, and it's a long and tedious process. But I guess that's with all government offices, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but at least they talk to. Here, it's like they say, no more applications. It's like, it's a completely different story. Anyhow, okay, well, hopefully you'll find a way of getting this to move
yeah.
forward in the Philippines. I'm very interested to see that because I'm in the Philippines.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it'll be coming back home for me. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, great.
Speaking of BSP, Ritesh, I shared a link about CE Estates because cestates.io, because I am a fintech consultant. I consult with Moneybees, the BSP licensed crypto currency asset exchange here in the Philippines. So you might want to check that out because they're gaining some traction for tokenized assets when it comes to real estate investments. So maybe you want to check that out too, and how they implemented it.
Okay, sure.
Hey guys, how's it going so far? It's 6:34. Just a time check, quick time check. Hilda,
No, I
you have some
really
questions?
quick question, like a
Let's go.
really answer Ritesh actually. Like, have you done any project or companies or industry that you are actually not interested in? As in like, so it's just a market size and market opportunity that is really exciting and interesting, and then you just go ahead, but then you are not particularly interested in that area. Have you come across that? I mean, like you did a whole spectrum of like different industry, different trades and different products and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, we have. I mean, because I'm not alone, it's a team, right? So the interest of some other people from the team, yeah, it's there. And like, okay, let me see. Yeah, there have been a lot of things. Like, okay, when we had this investment with IVF, there was an IVF company in India. I mentioned IVF. I thought it was more in the biotech space of IVF, but no, it was actually more in the marketing of IVF. So what they would do is they would rebrand a lot of IVF offices in India, put it under their brand name and set out certain parameters or certain rules that everyone has to abide by because they're using the brand name of the company. So it's become a very large group. Yeah, it makes money. And, the team did this whole research all about it. But I was like, this is not really IVF. It is the marketing of IVF. So the product is the marketing and putting it under one brand name, and that's how they do it. Fair enough. It still makes money. I'm not gonna lie. It still makes money. It's a good investment, but I'm really not interested in it. So I don't know if you get it. It's like, okay, it's advertising of IVF, not IVF itself. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Got you. All right. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Hilda. Is there someone that we didn't call or get a chance to speak? Because I'm pretty sure Javier has a lot of things to say. So we really look forward to it. Yeah, but unfortunately, I think we have to stop now because our host account needs to go. So yeah, this is a bittersweet goodbye because I'm pretty sure you guys love to still interact with Ritesh. But we can still organize and we still have more GBO events to come. Don't worry, we're not going to run out of GBO events. And there are also some changes that are going to happen in GBO, but it's better for the headquarters to actually announce it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your time for today. And keep in touch. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is how you do it in Hong Kong, right? Is it how you do it? Yeah, thank you.
I don't know. I'm from Spain.
I don't think
Yeah,
I'm trying to be polite. That's all.
Leanne does this. Leanne does this. So
That's
it's
why
a Hong Kong thing or a Leanne thing. It should be
I'm
one
trying
of
just to be polite.
It's one of those. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all of you guys.
Everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye bye.
All right. Have a nice day. Thanks, Ritesh. We need to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks all.
When are you arriving in the Philippines again? By next month?
Tentatively is March 15th.
March 15th. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just waiting for some stuff to get sorted. Then I should be able to come. Yeah, but I don't think I'll come before March 15th. Yeah.
Yeah, because my company is buying a townhouse here in Metro Manila, and we're also buying a property in Mindanao because we're developing a warehouse. Now you're curious why a townhouse? The plan here is like the first floor make into a warehouse, second floor is like living quarters for employees. So that was like the plan. And I think my purchase would be a good use case for your company in fractionalized shares. If there are people that wanted to participate in that purchase, I'd love to see it happen. Because we're expanding, and the end goal here, inspired by David, he doesn't even know that he did inspire me, David Elephant. The requirements here in the Philippines to become a real estate investment trust, you need to have at least 3 years of profitable track record. So we are incorporating this little side project of ours already away from my main company and make it into its own standalone company. And yeah, we're gonna need paid up capital of like 300 million pesos, not dollars. So that's probably like, I don't know, $7 million, right? And yeah, to become a real estate investment trust. And that's the goal of my new company. But if we can get away with the regulation and have like a fractionalized shares approach, I think that's also going to help us in achieving and becoming a real estate investment trust. So yeah, I'll speak with you next month for that, I guess, in person.
Yeah.
I do invest like that in Spain with different companies. There are 2 different companies in Spain that operates that way that you're talking about, Ritesh, and now you're talking about that, Terence, too, about fractioning, also for building new houses that they make crowdfunding. Then you can go in equity with the company, or you can just lend part of your money and then get the revenue.
Yeah. Crowdfunding.
Oh, okay. There's a lending part. Wow.
Yeah, it's crowdfunding and lending too. There are 2 different models that you can choose. It depends on the project or the company. I do invest in 2 different companies that makes that. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
VC investments in Europe, it's more common to do it for crowdfunding, or rather than, let's say here, it's not allowed. You can't.
It is not allowed in Asia?
In Hong Kong.
In Hong
it's
Kong. Okay.
You have to
Well,
be an accredited investor to do a VC investment. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I also work with crowdfunding companies, but only with American issuers. So there's something called Regulation CF where you could raise $5 million a year, but of course you're being observed or tight observation by the SEC, and also Regulation A+ where you're allowed to fundraise $75 million a year. So yeah, I work with those kinds of companies. So now I have like some idea on how to approach, but I didn't know you can't crowdfund in Hong Kong. In the Philippines, we do have already we only have one company that has a license to crowdfund when it comes to loans, and only one company when it comes to actual crowdfunding for shares of a company. I'm not sure how to pronounce their names. Maybe David can pronounce them better, but I've seen them. Yeah, they work with Union Bank back in the day, and also the other one. It's at the tip of my tongue. I'll just send you the links later, David, if I can remember them. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
But
none of
I know
those
there's-
companies are very active though.
Yeah, but I'm surprised with this other company, the one that has the license to crowdfund for loans, because they were able to invite the SEC big shots, BIR.
I'm not
and,
so sure they have a license the way you think it is. I think I know who you're talking about. I don't remember the name, but I don't think it's who you think. I don't think they have a license like that you think they have.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, because they really invited the big guns of the government and their
A
event.
lot of people do that
Yeah.
just for publicity and to get investors.
Oh,
well, you know, in Spain, you can go, not just in Spain, but in Europe, you can go with 5 million euros per project. It's the top for crowdfunding whenever you go in equity part, right? But you have to go in equity part of a company. So then they will be regulated by the FCA and then the CNM. Oh, I don't know how to say that in English. CNMV, which is the regulation in Spain. Well, that's staff. You know what? We don't spell in Spanish because we write the same way we talk. So for Spanish speakers, it's a nightmare to spell, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can actually invest until 5 million euros
Okay.
per project, right? That is the top.
It's a bit more of $5 million. Okay, that's interesting, because in the US you could go all the way to 75. It used to only be 50, but they even increased it to 75.
Yeah,
So
the company can make a lot of investments, right? But the company can have many projects where you can invest, right?
But can they renew? But can they renew it in a yearly basis? Because like in the US, you can renew it. Okay.
Yeah, you have 24 months, 36 months, 18 months too. It depends on the project. It depends on if it's just a promotion of remaking or reconstructing a house, a building, or whatever, or it is just to build a brand new thing, right? It depends on the project, and the company hold different companies that go across that platform, right?
Wow, from VC to CF to crowdfunding, venture capital to crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much what I'm doing now, right? So
yeah, that's right. I invest in that. So we need to talk.
Space. Yeah, I'm not leaving the VC space, but I am doing my own startup now. So it's a little bit different. Of course, it's going to back to the other side, but this time I'm doing it, starting more of a passion project and more like, okay, I want something different in my career now. I've been in the VC space for a while. This time, let me go by the way of a startup. And, I like real estate, and I love the Philippines. I love Asia. That's why I'm doing it here. And yeah.
Yeah, you want to be on the other side of the table this time.
Yeah. Back to the other side. Yeah.
I think your startup could really help also my startup in a way that I was pressured by the angels. Like, TJ, we've improved our performance last January by 700% in terms of foot traffic. It's time to open your Metro Manila branch for Easy Store. And I'm like, and also Cebu. Dave's like, no.
No.
So,
Because it's a very different market where you are. The provincial market is less crowded and needs more things. Here you have to build up the company before you tackle Manila.
yeah, but the demand also from other parts like outside Metro Manila to be able to easily ship and distribute their products in Metro Manila. I didn't know there was still that kind of challenge or barrier at the moment. So that's one thing that my angels wanted to solve. And I'm just becoming the yes guy, except when it comes to like other executions like tech. I have really a lot of things to say about that. But when it comes to other things, I'll just let the data dictate.
Logistics got messed up because of COVID. That's basically it. Things that took a couple of days, took 2 weeks because people couldn't travel, the trucks got stopped, people needed to do PCR tests to continue their travel, even the drivers. So that's what messed it up.
That's true. Like even the recent typhoon, the audit thing, it really messed up the warehousing of Watson's, for example. It's a really popular brand.
Look, there's not enough warehousing in the Philippines that I can tell you. I visited north of Manila. There's a place called San Simon. I don't know if you know it. It's really like Bulacan. There's some Chinese guys. They built like hectares and hectares of warehouses, and they like sold it like immediately. They couldn't build enough of them.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's good news somehow. And no wonder maybe my investors know something that I don't. It's time
I can tell you, warehousing is the biggest missing thing right now. Okay.
Like time to do the talk right now with them, because like we've seen like this pattern, like how Amazon like companies are already popping out in the Philippines, like Lazada and Shopee. Amazon started as an online marketplace. The thing here is in the Philippines, there's so many marketplaces, but not a lot of warehouses. And because we understand Amazon started online, because you can't really just buy real estate right off the bat. You need a lot of work and you need a lot of support in order to do so. But eventually, companies like Alibaba, Amazon, and the WeChat support, the Baidu, is that how you say it? Like, how do you say it, Ritesh? The Alibaba competitors. Okay, the Baidu. Yeah, Baidu, they are acquiring warehouses. So what we wanted to do here in the Philippines, position ourselves as, hey, the clients in Lazada and Shopee are now becoming our clients. They are warehousing in our in our space, and it makes their products cheaper. Like let's say a coffee box would cost, let's say 380 pesos per box. But if you buy it from Lazada, you pay around almost 500 pesos, including the shipping. But if you just get it directly from our warehouse or to our partner merchants, you can get it, for only 380 pesos. Okay, maybe price is one factor, but also the accessibility. If you order in Lazada, you don't know when it'll arrive, a week or two, or maybe never. But for an actual physical product to be distributed in the local market, and you can acquire them once you give the money or pay, I think that's a game changer as well. And not a lot of people are doing that right now in the Philippines. I could be wrong in some other areas, but I don't know. My investors are really positioning it that way. So,
well, you got to be careful for what you're doing, because there's certain permits you need for a logistics company, which is completely different.
Oh, we're not doing logistics. No, okay. No way we're doing logistics. No,
if you look at what logistics needs as permits, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I'm glad I'm
not to the Supreme Court for a permit. It's like out of this world in the Philippines. And also, by the way, since you mentioned your REIT interest there in the Philippines, you're not setting up a REIT company now. You're setting up a company to invest in real estate. Who will sell it to the REIT company?
Oh, is that how you actually break it down? Okay.
Yeah, because also by the time you do it, your real estate would have gone up in price.
Yeah.
So that'll allow you also to benefit from that.
See, there's a lot of things that I need to really explore in that area, but yeah, in general, that's the direction that I want to go.
I need to do the same.
I'm glad I'm in GBO, guys. I'm glad I'm in GBO.
Me too.
I mean,
You know what? For
know
me,
when I come.
Asia is a whole mystery because I know different things in Spain for sure. This is my country. I've lived in Paris. I've been going to Italy several times. I do know a lot of people in Portugal, but oh yeah, of course, in the States we do all do some business and have some friends. So you know the regulations, but Asia
Yeah,
for me is still a mystery.
it's a
The
beast.
whole, I mean, it's like if we
Even
you
even to
cannot.
us.
Yeah, even for you, right? Yeah.
Even
What I call the Philippines is like this, the way they regulate here. Why make it easy when you can make it complicated?
So it
yeah.
seems that it's going to be, it were a French colony instead of a Spanish colony, because French are quite that way. Why to make it simple if you can complicate?
Tell me about it.
It is so opposite in America. Like
Yeah,
they
for
really they
sure.
strive for simplicity. Meanwhile, in Asia, oh, that's an easy step. Let's pump it up a bit, you know? That's not how the Asian way does. B plus is like an F. We should get A plus. Oh, A for
Yeah.
Asian. Well, but yeah, like speaking of logistics, David, we do have a use case where one of our easy partners, the one that displays on the shelves in the store, they have a hard time shipping because they find it expensive. One of them actually asked me, TJ, you're going to Mindanao, right? Yeah. I have 10 kilograms of sugar. Can you include it in your luggage? I'm like,
Okay, I'll give you an idea. You know, shipping in Asia is okay when it's country to country, but when
Yeah.
you're to ship something from Manila to another part of the Philippines is almost the same price as shipping a container from China to the Philippines.
The same issue we had in
Okay.
Africa.
Yeah,
The
it's
last one,
ridiculous.
the
Well,
same
unless
issue.
you can work with some of the really small companies. Now I'm shipping a 10-wheeler of telco pipes to Boracay. So Libcap asked for 170,000 pesos, and which is like $3,500 US. But I found this small, company. It's got like 2 trucks, and they're going to do it for like $1,500.
Because like let me share you her story. She said she went to LBC and the cost to ship to, let's say, Iligan City from Manila is 2,000 pesos. Now the cost to increase my luggage in the airport by 10 kilograms or 20 kilograms is only 1,000 pesos. So basically, she didn't even pay me the labor, but I'm the one bringing her 10 kilograms of sugar to the warehouse, right? But here's the kicker, though. So the investor said, like, what we can do now is when we have multiple branches of our warehouse, our easy partners can go to the warehouse, drop off their goods, and in a weekly basis, we ship them in batches. So let's say sugar and honey together. So we save on the shipping costs. Now I'm like, okay, that's cute. That really helps our partners, but it's not really our main business. But yeah, we're gonna ship in bulk in a weekly basis, probably with LBC or I don't know
No,
who
you
else.
got to find other people because
Asia.
LBC is still expensive for that kind of stuff because it's really heavy and it's fragile too, right?
I
If it's
remember I
in
worked with
glass.
Gotham Southern before, when I was shipping
No.
beer before. Yeah, but if you have some recommendations for companies to ship, that would be nice too. Because like, yeah, it's from Manila to Iligan, for
You
example, or
need if you really want to save money, you got to be able to fill up a truck. If you can't fill up the truck, doesn't matter the size, you're not going to get a good price.
Yeah.
How big of a truck are we talking about here? Because like we have one
There's
that's
all different sizes. It
face
depends,
mask.
You can have
Yeah,
a 6-wheeler, you can have a 10-wheeler. It depends how much stuff you have. There's different
I guess
sizes.
that could be one truck because this face mask supplier wants to send like at least 1,000 boxes in the
The other
warehouse.
issue is if you really want to do something, you got to try to find a way to find something for the truck to bring back. So they're never empty. And that reduces the cost a lot. Because
Oh, that's
they go
really
one way
thoughtful.
full and one way empty, they still got a lot of expense to come back.
So probably it would be an exchange, like entrepreneurs from Manila sends it to Iligan, entrepreneurs from Iligan sends it to Manila. I think that would be the
I think
the
I
route
also
now.
need that. Yeah, for Tagaytay actually, from Manila to Tagaytay. I need to sort it out. I
Oh,
have
okay.
Tagaytay to Manila, but Manila to Tagaytay is empty.
Wow, okay. Well, what are you doing in Tagaytay? It's like
exporting
Tagaytay
some
Javier is like mountain area, really nice place,
Yeah,
and there's
so
a
I'm
volcano
exporting some
randomly.
stuff from Tagaytay. I'm exporting some stuff made with some natural products. It's cosmetics, candles, different type of stuff that's being exported to Europe. So it's made in Tagaytay. It's made in Tagaytay. It'll be brought to Manila for repackaging and just break bulking and packaging, and then exported to Europe and US. But I don't have anyone to
Javier's like, come to Papa.
Bring it on.
I just realized Ivan joined us. Ivan's a sports writer, and well, he's basically a writer, but I think he specializes in sports. Hi, Ivan. Just saying hi.
Hi.
We're not ignoring you. I just saw you right now. I was so busy earlier, like 20 plus people. I
Yeah,
don't know how to.
actually just saw
how we
your
make-
I just saw your what's all this your post on FB earlier. So I thought I could come, especially right now we're in need of natural investment because we have to go long term.
Nice. Thank you so much, Ivan. Yeah. Earlier, there were like so many attendees all over the world. So yeah, I didn't notice you were there. Because I think only 20 people are displayed on Zoom, right? The rest is on the next page or something. But yeah, we're about to close in 4 minutes. Damn. This is insane.
Yeah, I'll just open my cam. Here we go. There you go.
Oh, where are you? And why do you have so much light? Oh, okay, that's from a light bulb.
That's actually a virtual background.
Okay, it's a virtual background. Yeah. I was like, I'm in the Philippines. It's freaking dark here. Like, I was like, what's going on?
That's my situation in my room. Kind of simple.
All right.
In fact, earlier especially when I declared my political allegiance, I decided to put up this virtual background.
Oh no, we don't participate in politics here. That was a request of Ritesh.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm just lay it down.
Politics.
I'll just lay it down.
Are
I'll
we
just
still
go back
recording?
to my friend's house. There you go.
Cool. Yeah. So if you are you still looking for products to send to Europe, Javier? Like what kind of products? Like we have products we have like really small business owners local, and they're looking for markets to ship, and they already have good containers from healthy sugar called Muscovado sugar to wild bee honey. Like they literally chase the bees to extract the honey. They don't
bring natural products to Europe, it's quite difficult from Asia because the regulation in Asia is very different from Europe. So there are many CEE rules that Asian products doesn't accomplish. Yeah, it's pretty tough. You know what I could be a diamond for you guys that you are in Asia to send ham, Spanish ham. It's a very well-known product. Maybe not so much in Asia, but is the best ham of the world. You can pay like $1,000 for one leg. It is extremely expensive. It takes like 5 years.
It's insane. Yeah. You're saying $1,000 here. We spend for that. You can get about 3,000-4,000 US because the taxes for European products is it's 150%.
Yeah.
Oh, in Hong Kong right now?
In Hong Kong, yeah. Wines and Spanish ham is very expensive.
Why are you guys in Hong Kong?
It is very expensive. You know what? I do have the own producers who produce it, who've got the pigs. It's a special breed of pork that it's been breeding in Spain since the Middle Age, and it's a black pork.
Iberico, right?
Iberico. That's it. That's the race. You're right. And the good things, man.
My wife is
for sure.
They
do have the producers, the distributors, all the stuff. And you know what? For me, externalization in Spain is very low because laziness of the people. You know what? It's awesome. I mean, I cannot believe I'm a food lover, as you can see. It's more than obvious. And I go inside of research for doing some business in that field. And let me tell you, we do have very few exporters of Iberican ham because we sell it here. I mean, all the production is sold here. But if we can create a channel where we can sell that to Asia, in a reasonable price that you don't have to pay $3,000 to get a leg, I think that would be awesome. I can have a great discount from the producers because we're going to buy directly to the guys that produce that, and they're different.
We have a warehouse. We have a warehouse, Javier.
Yeah, you would need a warehouse near Manila. Would be okay.
I don't have Manila yet. I don't have Manila. We're still about to buy one, but we have one ready, in Iligan.
Well,
but still, again, we have a warehouse.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the point is, there's a field that it's not covered. That is a gap that you talked before. That it's more than obvious. We were talking about Asia, but it exists in France. I mean, you know what? I can pay here 700 euros for an awesome leg of ham, and in France, which is in some places 2 kilometers far because we make frontier with France, you will pay 1,400.
Oh,
and people doesn't carry that there. And I've been asking why, guys. That's absurd. I'm not the smartest guy in the world that is seeing that. I mean, someone have to see that before. And they say, you know what? We don't need that. We sell it here. So if someone wants to buy, just come and buy, or we will sell 10 pieces.
Javier, I'm actually curious also, like, aside from bringing those ham here in Asia or in the Philippines specifically.
Oh,
'cause that's where
wines
my
or
warehouse-
whatever in food terms you want to talk, I'm the man.
Cool. Yeah, I'll message you later for that. Because now I'm also curious, like, are you familiar with the food called chicharron? It's very popular here in the Philippines. It's like pork chicharron.
You know what? Chicharron.
Is that a Spanish word? Is that a Spanish word?
It's a very old word that in
Okay.
South America they're still using to say the skin of the pork.
Right. So here in the Philippines, or one of my partners, like this small business owner.
Oh, you could cry with Spanish Iberic chicharrons. You could cry. Let me tell you.
Okay. But here's the thing: they have vegan chicharron, so they use mushrooms to make chicharron, but it still tastes like chicharron. I swear.
No way. Let me tell you. Eyes closed.
I swear. And they even created different flavors from barbecue, salt and egg.
We make it with they make
like
it with
7 or 8
soya or tofu or what they do it. How they
No,
do it?
it's actually mushroom, and
it's
they
a
don't
mushroom.
use oil to make it crispy.
Uh-huh.
They use an air fryer. It's really interesting. And when I brought the products, because they're producing it in Cavite, and then they ship it to Iligan, it's another place in the Philippines.
Yep.
It's people won't believe, like, hey, is this really mushroom? It tastes like pork. Like, yeah, it is. But yeah, I'm curious, like, how that was passed in Spain.
Yeah, well, that's something that when you go to a bar and you ask for a glass of wine, they put it in the plate for you aside. I mean, it's that you maybe know about the concept of tapas, right? Tapas, it's a small side dish that it comes with every drink that you get in a bar, right? And it's very, very common in Spain. I mean, like olives, almonds. We call that corteza because chicharron is a very old word that it's been used in South America because of the colony before, and then in Philippines because of the colony. Okay, so you use old words that we don't use anymore, but we understand it, and for sure we know what
Guys,
what's that.
yeah, as the host, it's already 7:04, and is everyone already good? We have our fill of Ritesh and this amazing GBO experience. So I'll see you guys next time. There are more events, right? And yeah, our host Leanne is just silently listening because she's prepping for her next event. So yeah, but I'd like her to rest better. So Leanne, thank you so much. Oh, she's dressed up for the next event. Okay. Thank you so much, Leanne.
She came to the party.
Relaxed clothes. Chilling.
Well, yeah, it looks like you're gonna beat up someone. So
Members only.
Members only. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for staying. I hope you enjoyed this event. Leanne, wonderful idea for this event. Yeah, no need for PowerPoint. Just fire chat, side chat. Man, COVID, man, it had some brain injuries on me. I swear to God. I'm not the same.
What's a fireside chat? I've been like going to a campground.
Yeah.
Lighting up a barbecue pit.
There are times like I try to think, I can't really get the word out of my head. I don't know. It's a COVID thing, I guess. And Leanne posted an article. I was like, that's still me.
Ask me anything. Yeah.
Yeah, AMA, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. I love the enthusiasm. I'm so glad you're able to carry on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leanne, for hosting. Thank you guys. Thank you
Great
for attending.
pleasure. Thank you, Ritesh, Liam, TJ, everyone. Great pleasure.
Thanks, Javier. See you guys next time. Thanks, Ivan.
Keep in
Bye-bye.
touch.
Next month, Ritesh, but we will chat before even you arrive here. See you.
Bye. Thank you.